Hi everyone, it's Dale Anderson. I hope you're well. So the big question on everyone's mind, are property prices actually crashing? And the question everyone wants to know the answer to. So as you know, my name's Dale. I've been in property investments across the UK and international markets for the last 17 years. I do like to go into the data and do our research. So remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this news, and please feel free to share and we'll keep you fully updated on the latest news. So the first thing we were looking at is the house price balance report. The report by the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors last month said that the UK property market suffered the most widespread price decline since 2009. This is all thanks to rising interest rates weighing on potential buyers. The house price balance report by the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors measures the gap between the percentage of surveyors seeing rise and falls in the UK house prices. This measure fell to -47, the lowest level since April 2009, and compares to -42 back in December. Another measure in the report is interest from buyers, which fell to -47, the lowest level since October last year. All the indicators do point to a further slowdown in the housing market in the coming months as borrowing costs have risen sharply and household incomes are squeezed by the cost of living crisis and inflation. So are they right? Will house prices fall, and by how much? The next thing we want to look at is the Halifax and Office of National Statistics data. So to get a better idea, let's take a look at the Halifax latest data housing report and also the ONS data. The land registry in the UK house price index shows average prices rose by 10.3% year on year from November 2021 to November 2022, which is a massive jump. Rather staggering, according to Halifax, house prices remained flat in January 2023, bringing to an end a 4-month slide, which was the longest consecutive downturn since the 2008 financial crisis, making the average cost as of January £281,684, average house price down from a peak of £293,586 last summer, which is a 4% decline from the peak property prices. So what about interest rates? The Bank of England needs to also consider the latest interest rates. The Bank of England confirmed rates will rise for the 10th time in a row, taking them to 3.5% to 4% to try and control inflation after it reached a record of 10.5% in December 2022. This came after the International Monetary Fund reported the UK is said to be the only G7 member whose economy will go backwards this year with expected 0.6% contraction. Not only that, last year the Bank of England warned we could be in for the longest recession since the 1930s, during which time in London 85% of new houses sold for less than £750, which is around the equivalent of £45,000 in today's money. Average earnings were about £150 per year back then. Normally, during times of economic uncertainty and contraction, you would hear from experts calling for interest rates to be cut. However, these are not normal times. With current inflation at over 10% and banks targeting to get the inflation rate down to 2%, it's just out of the question at the moment. If rates were to be cut, this could lead to catastrophe, and this would lead to financial conditions loosening, potentially reigniting the inflationary flame. My personal opinion is prices will fall further in the coming year due to interest rates. Santander and the Bank of England data. So Santander warned recently prices will fall back to 2021 levels. They believe this with enough conviction to put money where their mouth is, setting aside more cash for loan losses to brace itself for possible rise of borrowers falling behind on payments. Increase in interest rates has resulted in a drop of numbers of mortgages being approved, and the Bank of England recently reported just 35,000 approved mortgages in December of 2022 compared to 46,000 in November 2022, the lowest approval levels since 2009. So it's estimated 715,000 borrowers currently on tracker mortgages whose annual mortgage cost could go up by an additional £588 per year on average. In addition to this, the Office of National Statistics predicted more than 1.4 million households are facing the prospect of further interest rate rises when they renew their fixed rate mortgages this year, something they've been shielded previously from. So how do we look at how the market performs? Well, I like to look at the 18-year property cycle, originally identified by British economist Fred Harrison. The 18-year property cycle suggests the property market follows a sequence of events all linked to the global economy. So in order to come to this conclusion, Harrison mapped out 100 years worth of data. So it is important to note this is not an exact timeline, although he did predict the 2008 housing crash 10 years prior to actually happening. even going as far as to write to Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, alerting them house prices would peak in the final quarter of 2007, and then that would be followed by a global recession, which did happen. So according to Harrison, the 18-year cycle is made up of two main phases. After crashes happen, markets take about 4 years to restart an upward trajectory. Then you enter 6 or 7 years of modest growth, known as the recovery phase. Next, there's the mid-cycle dip, often a 1 to 2 year downturn before a final boom phase ensues. Finally, the boom typically lasts another 6 to 7 years, where prices grow on average more than any other point in the cycle. So where are we in the property cycle now? According to Harrison, we are right at the beginning of the boom phase, which may leave a lot of you gasping in disbelief. So let me explain. Housing points to evidence of the mid-cycle wobbled in 2019. Average house prices increased by just 0.6% in the year to August 2019, according to the ONS. He said each 18-year cycle has a mid-cycle downturn for current cycles that was in 2019. Sure enough, there was a one-time downturn, and he goes on to say house prices will peak in 2016, followed by a recession that will eclipse that which happened in 2008. He has written to Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson, alerting them to this fact, but Harrison said, I've written to explain the consequences of not stabilizing the housing markets, but I do expect them to not take any constructive action. So what are the government plans? This leads me on to what the government has said about interest rate increases and their potential impact of millions of UK households. I acknowledge high rates may be difficult for mortgage holders, with PM Rishi Sunak's official spokesman saying inflation is the biggest threat to living standards in a generation. So we support the bank's action to help succeed in halving inflation this year. We will continue to take the difficult decision needed, however, to do what we can to reduce inflation, including not funding additional spending or tax cuts through borrowing, which only serves to fuel inflation further and prolong the pain for everyone. This is a difficult time for mortgage holders in the UK. Sound money and stable economy are the best way to lower mortgage rates and keep costs lower on future mortgage rates. That is why we have taken the necessary steps and taken responsible actions to halve inflation, reduce our debt, and get the economy growing again. All very reassuring, I think. You might agree or not agree, to be honest. And it's difficult to tell where we're going. If you look at the 18-year cycle, it does look like we may be in a phase of prices going down slightly this year. So a fairly softer landing than some may expect them to go down by, maybe 5 to 10%. But take into consideration prices have actually gone up 10, 15, 20% in the last few years. And we do believe we're in the mid-cycle where prices may actually boom thereafter. So this is my personal opinion. There are some good opportunities at the moment. Some people are looking to invest in stable assets. Some people are preferring to wait for interest rates to come down if they are looking to take out a mortgage. They'd rather wait for interest rates to come down and then take advantage of lower borrowing rates again. However, it doesn't look like interest rates will be coming down anytime soon. So in the meantime, I hope you found this useful. I'll keep you fully updated on the latest news. Take care. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll keep you fully updated. Take care. Thanks, and goodbye.